and have its throat cut, nor should lambs be separated from their mothers and sent to slaughter. If you feel outraged about Cecil the lion and Mario the giraffe, and about the Koreans eating dogs, and bulls being fought, and animals made to perform in circuses, foxes being hunted, dolphins and whales enslaved in tiny aquaria, and the dogs and cats are neglected the world over, then you should be vegan. The fact is that a cow on a farm, a pig in a pen, a chicken cage, all suffer more than Cecil the lion did. The only way these animals will stop suffering will be when humans realise that all animals are sentient beings in their own right. They are not objects or things for us to use, be it food, clothing, sport and entertainment, experimentation, or for the pet industry. Realisation that all sentient beings deserve to live peacefully and free from harm is such a simple and just concept. Yet so many of us don't let that realisation sink in because of how we've been raised all our lives. Our minds don't let us acknowledge this because it's in direct contrast to what's on our plate. Our culture, our society, even our parents raise us to view some animals as being important and others as being just a hamburger or a nugget or an omelette. It's no different than the potatoes or bread that are also on the plate. But it's times like this when the murder of one single majestic animal takes the world by storm that we can help so many people to finally make that connection. What part of thou shalt not kill did you not understand? If we continue to sanction this horror for the animals, we have failed in our moral test. Might does not make right, and they suffer and die needlessly because of our antiquated ideas, habits, traditions. Grow past the way our world has existed to this point. Do not support the violence of greed. The animal holocaust numbers are staggering, and these animals are in a living hell during their short lives. Among the greedy sadists that terrorise and abuse them and make money off their pain and misery. What kind of world have we created?
Lovely bacon!
Well, there's your answer.
We have to uncreate this now. In the USA alone, 3 times as many animals await slaughter as there are humans on this planet. In all the wars in human history, almost 620 million animals have been killed each week. 1.5 billion animals are killed by humans for a variety of reasons and uses. When you consider the way that we treat other sentient beings in this manner, is it any surprise we treat each other in the disgusting ways we do? However scrupulously the slaughterhouse is concealed in the great graceful distance of miles, there is complicity. We can hide the death camps and houses of murder from the eyes of the populace, but in this age of information, we all know what goes on in farming animals. So now the question is no longer, why are you vegan? The question is, why are you not? And why are you funding the murders? Picture yourself being cut up and cut apart for your body parts. This idea of being privileged to eat food or trinkets for others seems a little barbaric and silly, right? Empathy seems to only come when we have also been treated with disdain and cruelty. It does not have to go this far. Think with compassion. Think vegan. We can talk to those people whose hearts have been opened by Cecil the lion's murder and helping them make that connection that it's not just lions, but all animals. Shooting a lion brings pleasure to some people. Eating a chicken brings pleasure to some people. Both are unnecessary. And we can all live full and healthy lives without doing either. It all starts with one incident, one spark of the mind, one realization, and Cecil the lion can be that spark for millions of people all over the planet. Some might argue the use of the word murder. It's usually used in terms of legality. However, do not forget that slavery was legal, the Holocaust was legal, segregation was legal, women being classed as lesser than men was legal. Do not use the state and its legal machine as a meter for ethics. Just as sexism and racism are violent belief systems, so is speciesism. We're all born into this violent belief system, and it's been socially accepted as normal, natural, and necessary. So many allow it to continue. You might feel like you want to argue with vegans, but it's an argument you cannot win. Your argument is not with vegans, but with your own conscience. As with slavery and the oppression of women, there were courageous individuals who stood up and spoke out. The same is happening for the animals who have no voice and have been used and are being used, exploited, raped, tortured and killed because of ignorance, tradition, greed and selfishness. People all around the planet are standing up and speaking out. In June, there were marches under the banner of close down all slaughterhouses in a number of cities, including London, Birmingham, Glasgow, Paris, Toulouse, Kassel, Brussels, Berlin, Bern, Bucharest, Istanbul, Delhi, Los Angeles, Toronto, Montreal, Sydney, Rio de Janeiro. Pro-meat propaganda is beginning to wear thin. The evidence is mounting and smart people are wising up. Flesh foods are death foods, and create a chain of victims that starts with an innocent animal and ends with a dying planet, while our own health and morals are compromised along the way. Becoming vegan and helping others to do so, for the animals who needlessly suffer, but also for ecological reasons and their own health, is how we can help each other become better educated and create a just world for all sentient life on our shared planet. Two fundamental facts that many people do not yet know or believe. One, the first fundamental fact is that eating meat is not necessary for human survival or human health. Vegans from all over the world who marched on June 13th were the living proof of this first fundamental fact. Nearly 1% of the world population, 7.5 billion, is vegan today. Two, the second fundamental fact is that in order to provide this meat that is not necessary for the survival or health of the 7.5 billion humans on the planet, an unimaginable amount of suffering is necessary for over 150 billion innocent, voiceless, defenseless victims every year. Slaughter for meat is not euthanasia. It is not the merciful, pain-free, terror-free ending of a long, happy life in order to spare the victim from suffering a terrible, incurable disease or unbearable pain. These figures from the water footprint system at the University of Twente in the Netherlands. Each day, the person who eats a vegan diet saves 1,100 gallons of water, 45 pounds of grain, 30 square feet of forested land, and 20 pounds of CO2 equivalent, and one animal's life. And to finish, the words from Bob Marley's amazing song, War. Until the philosophy which holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, everywhere is war. We say war. That until they're no longer first class and second class citizens of any nation, until the colour of a man's skin is of no more significance than the colour of his eyes, we say war. That until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race, is a war. Updating the sentiment behind those words, until the philosophy which holds one species superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, everywhere is war. Racism is the same as sexism, it's the same as racism. They are all violent belief systems, and we as a species cannot consider ourselves to be civilized, uttering words of peace and love, whilst putting the result of violence into and on our bodies. Go vegan for animals, the planet we all depend upon, and your own self.
Sorry about that.